Hi, I'm Yannick from Vasha Photography, and in this video I'll show you how to calibrate your monitor with the new i1Studio from x-rite. Recently, x-rite released a new calibration device called i1Studio. This is really an end-to-end calibration tool that can calibrate your monitor, your projector, your cell phone, your scanner, and your printer to make sure that your colors are consistent from monitor to projector to print. This is part one of the series of videos that we will do about this device, and today we'll be calibrating our monitor. So before we start, let's see what's inside and how the device looks like. So the main device is the calibrator here. The same tool is used to calibrate your monitor, your cell phone, your projector, or your print. Depending on whether you want to calibrate your monitor or the other device, you keep it in the protective cover here or not. So when you remove from the cover, basically that's what it looks like. So this is the device. Let me just zip it up. The cover that we will use to calibrate the monitor comes with a little handle. The handle is not just to hold it, but it has some weight. I think there's some kind of sand inside or some kind of weight to make it a little bit heavier. And basically how you want to do it is that you attach the calibrator to your monitor and put the little weight behind the monitor so that the device stays very nicely put against your monitor. What we also recommend that you tilt the monitor a little bit back. So this monitor that we have here, this is the maximum that it tilts, and basically that, as long as the calibrator is connected well to the monitor, that's really all that matters. Okay, so let's start calibrating and switch to our monitor. So the x-rite i1Studio calibrator comes with a piece of software called the i1Studio software, and this is equally important part of the whole process as the calibrator itself. Here we have the home screen of this software, and on the left side, these are the key parts of the calibration. So you can display your display, you can calibrate your display, your projector, a color print, a black and white print, and then optimize profile, which is you can further optimize your profiles for printing based on the chart, on the print, on the photo that you already have, or any other optimization that you want to do with the software, which actually is very powerful. And then the last one is the scanner calibration. So let's start with the display calibration, because that's what we want to do today. So you click on the display, and here are the options that you have. First, it tells you which monitor you want to calibrate. We have connected our LG 43-inch monitor to this laptop. So this is the LG Ultra HD monitor here. This is our laptop screen, so we're not going to be calibrating in this one today. We're just going to calibrate our display, our monitor. So we're going to click on this one. The next option is how you want to calibrate your monitor. Do you want to do a photo, optimize for photo, for video, or do a custom calibration? The good thing about also the software, in case those settings are too complicated for you, is that there's a lot of explanation here, what each setting is and how to adjust it so that you get the best calibration out of your monitor. Since we're doing mainly for photography, when we calibrate, we calibrate with photo. We also could do the custom, which will tell you what is the white point. D65 is really the most common white point, but you can adjust it if you want. Luminance, we keep it at 120, but if you compare your print, the print to your monitor, and then your print is a little bit too dark, then basically you have to lower the luminance of your monitor until the print and the monitor looks kind of the same. So that you can adjust later on. Right now we're going to keep it standard at 120 luminance. Gamma, we keep it standard at 2.2. So really, unless you want to go very deep into the calibration, these are very good standard settings that will give you a very solid result. So let's go back to actually the photo, because these are basically the standard settings that photo has. If you go to video, you also have different presets how you want to calibrate your video, but we're not going to get into those details because we're really focusing today on photography. And you can see also the video, it does the luminance much lower compared to photography. So let's switch to photo, and this is the first step. And this is basically your color range here that for your monitor. We're using an sRGB color space monitor, so this is sRGB color space that will be calibrating. Let's go next. So in this screen, you'll be able to specify how you want to calibrate your monitor. There are really two options here that you have to pay attention to. The first one is the automatic display control. This, if your monitor supports automatic adjustments, you can check it off. So if you check it off, this option, the other one becomes unchecked. Or you can say that you want to adjust the brightness, contrast, and RGB gains manually. In our scenario, we prefer to do it manually to really get the best results, since we can adjust the brightness, contrast, and the RGB colors through our monitor. The next step is to calibrate to calibrate the actual calibrator, or the measuring device. So you have to switch the calibrator mode into the calibration mode. So we're going to switch it. So this is like this. When you switch to the proper setting, the calibrate button becomes enabled. So we're going to start calibrating. So now the measuring device is actually calibrating itself to make sure that everything's working fine. It measures the ambient light, what we have here, and then once it's ready, it tells you that the device is calibrated but not ready to measure. We have to turn the device dial into the measurement step. So let's switch it. As I turn it into the calibration, the start measurement process button is enabled, so let's press it. Now it tells me how I want to position my monitor. As I mentioned before, we have to tilt the monitor back as much as we can so that the calibrator is properly touching the screen without any extra light coming in. So we're going to put it a little bit to the side. I'm going to move the USB cable here, and let me see. I think it's pretty good. Just making sure that there's no light coming from the side, because this will really affect the calibration. And then on the left side here, you can check which adjustments are allowed in your monitor. If you're not sure, just either check your manual or go to the menu settings and see which adjustments can be made. In our case, we can adjust the contrast, the RGB controls, and also the brightness. So that's why all three are checked in here. Let's go to the next step. And that's when the measuring and calibration process starts. So we're just going to go through the whole process now. As you can see, first is measuring the contrast, so how much contrast the monitor can support. Now we're adjusting the white point, and this will this on the left side here, it will tell me like, okay, which colors are good, which ones I need to adjust. Okay, so it checked how the RGB colors are on my monitor, and you can see that the red is good, the green is blue is also good, the blue is almost at the center, but the calibrator tells me that I need to bring it down tiny bit to make sure that I have the target properly set up. So I'm going to through my remote control for my monitor. I'm going to the menu here, and I'm going to adjust quick settings, and so I'm going to picture mode, I have custom mode here enabled, so again, custom again, and adjust, color adjust. And here I have adjustments for red, green, and blue. Most likely when you start this calibration, you will have the settings either right in the middle or on one side. In our case, because we calibrated this monitor a couple of days ago, that's why those adjustments are already made. But you can see that even though we calibrated a few days ago, it's still not perfect. So we're going to enable the menu again, and now we can adjust the blue. So basically we need to bring the blue a little bit higher, or actually lower, and then we'll see whether the blue on the calibration will be adjusted. So, and I see like one click, so we went from 33, and there's some delay, so don't go very fast. So we went from 33 to 32, and then you can see the adjustment is good. Okay, so now we're good with the blues, so we're ready to go to the next step. Okay, so in this step, now it tells me whether my brightness is set up properly, and you can see my monitor right now is set up way too bright for the current condition that we have in this room. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my remote again, and I'm going to adjust the brightness of the monitor to lower settings until maybe I went even too far a bit. Yeah, so let me go to, again, you cannot make those adjustments too fast because there's some response time on the monitor. So let's see, we're at 53 now, it went up a little bit. Let's do 54, let's see where we are. Still a little bit now too dark, so we're gonna do 55. Okay, almost there. 56. Okay, now we're good. So 56 was the right value for the brightness. So let's keep going. And now we're calibrating for the actual colors through the whole spectrum of colors. As you can see, actually there are 118 batches that the calibrator is checking. So that's what makes the i1Studio so powerful, that there's a good number of patches that it actually checks the accuracy of those colors. So it's going to go through the whole 180 patches right now. Okay, so now the calibration is done, and we measured all the colors, the 118 patches, and we can move forward now. So in this step, it tells you, okay, everything was done. Now it tells you that we can create a new ICM profile, and it will give you the name of the monitor. So this is the profile for this monitor, and also the date, so 2017 11/29. That's actually good enough naming. I usually don't rename it, but basically that's the profile that we want to use. We're gonna save it. The profile is saved, and now let me move the actual calibrator a little bit to the side, so that now it gives you a set of screens, like a sample photos for comparison. So for example, this is the high key, but then we have mid-tone, low key, cyan, magenta, yellow, red, green, blue, olive, brown, pastel, colored, high key black and white, mid-tone black and white, low key black and white, and then custom if you want to load your own photo and do the before and after. So let's try, let's say for example this one, and this is after, this is before. Oops, I switch, I think, let me do the color. So this is before, and this is after. You can see that's a very subtle change, but you know, it's really the calibration is not something that is really drastic and huge, depending how, you know, bad your monitor was originally. But once you calibrate it from week to week, the adjustments are not very big, but they're just very subtle to make sure that your colors are very accurate when you print and when you see them on the screen. So you can see before and after. Also, beside, you know, instead of the photo, you can do the curves. So this is, you know, this shows you like the adjustments that the profile did based on the calibration. So you can see it's the biggest changes are here for this monitor in the blacks. So the blues are a little bit lift up, the reds are much more lift up, and the green are lift up even bigger to make sure that we have a nice tonality in the shadows, so they are neutral and also they are properly rendered on this monitor. And then this tells you, like, you know, in the color space, where is the target and where is the achieved. And you can see that the black luminance, the target was native. We had 0.372, so it's actually pretty good. The luminance is 120 was the target, and we got at 118, so it's you know, very, very close. The contrast ratio we had 315:1, still very good. And this is the white point. The target was 313 and 329. We had 312 and 327. So basically, those are so close that your eye cannot really distinguish the difference of this. So the target is very good. I mean, the achieved profile is actually very solid, and we are, you know, we can be confident that our colors are represented properly on the screen. And after this, you really have the monitor calibrated now. I hope you found this video useful, how to calibrate your monitor with the new i1Studio from x-rite. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. If you like this video, if it was informational to you, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and if you want to be notified when we post new video, don't forget to click on the little bell, so then you get notification when the new videos are up. So the question today is, do you calibrate your monitor currently? And if yes, how often do you calibrate it? We calibrate it once a week, but I'm very curious to know how often you guys are doing it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video.